Welcome to Dropped In, Rachel. I am so excited to welcome you to our Dropped In community.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm grateful to share you with our community. And if you can take over the mic and just share who you are, what you do, and why you're obsessed with it.
Sure. Yeah. I'm so excited to be here. So I'm Rachel and I'm the co-founder of Glow Integrative Clinic. And we are a integrative multidisciplinary health clinic in Victoria that focuses on supporting women's health across the lifespan. So my clinical background is in acupuncture and Chinese medicine, as well as being an integrative health coach and having a lot of background in exercise science and health psychology. And yeah, I just feel so excited about having one space where people can come to really have their health supported in a full and meaningful way. And that wasn't something that we really had here in Victoria that focused on women's health. So it feels really excited to be able to offer that up to the community.
That is incredible and so needed. So I would love to know the backstory. So how did you get into the work that you do today?
Yeah, this could be a long story. From an acupuncture perspective, I was exposed to acupuncture from a pretty young age. My dad was someone who experienced a lot of back pain, and his back would go out, and he'd be on bed rest for a few days. And finally, someone said to him, "You should go and have acupuncture." And I remember really clearly him like hobbling up the stairs to this clinic, and then he came like bounding down after an hour later. And I was like, that's pretty cool. I don't know what that is or what just happened, but that's pretty cool. And I think I was like 8 or 9. And I was a ballet dancer growing up. So I had a lot of injuries and where a lot of my friends were going to physio, I was always, I want to go to that acupuncturist, like that person. That was magical. I had acupuncture experience for a really long time and used it in many different ways growing up. And when I was in a serious car accident, which stopped me from being able to dance professionally anymore, I ended up going into an exercise science degree program. I was always interested in figuring out injuries and biomechanics and what was going on in the body. And so I went into that program and it was really interesting because I learned so much about the body. I was just talking to a patient this morning, actually, and we were talking about a physiological process. And I was like, I remember when I learned this in school, and my brain was just blown of our bodies are incredible. So I left that program with a real appreciation for the body and for movement in general. But as I started working with people, I really felt like there was something missing. Like I felt like I could make all the exercise prescriptions. I understood the body, but people didn't want to do it. There was like this block between engaging in those health behaviors. And so I ended up doing my master's in health psychology, which was understanding human motivation and adherence. So that kind of took me from the body to the mind, and then I still felt like there was something missing. I felt like I wasn't seeing that full person perspective that I knew was there. I felt like there was a level of healing and depth that I wanted to get to with people that I just wasn't able to with the training that I had. And that's when I went back to school for acupuncture and traditional Chinese medicine to weave all the pieces together.
That is incredible. Incredible. I absolutely love acupuncture. And side note, my dog's in my world, but the vet wanted to put him on some medication for Medicam, and I was well, let's see if there's another option. So I actually found an acupuncturist, a vet who practices on animals, and it was a gift. It was a blessing. In one session, he was back to his healthy, happy self. So
Yeah,
it
it's so amazing. It's such a powerful form of medicine, and yet from an experiential perspective, it's quite sudden. It's something that can really support lots and lots of people.
100%. So I know you're passionate about women's health, and I would love to know what is your mission behind that and why are you so passionate about this?
Yeah, I think that first and foremost, women in terms of medical research have just simply not had the voice and the information gathered about us and our complex bodies. And so that sort of alone puts a bee in my bonnet when I start to see all of the stats that are out there around women's health and the inequities really in terms of knowledge and treatment, looking at injuries that are done when they don't need to be, looking at how long it takes for diagnoses to be made for autoimmune conditions and rates of autoimmune conditions among women, and just recognizing that women really go through such a broad range of experiences in their health across their lifespan simply by being a woman and being alive. And for so long, I think that has been quieted. We've been told, like, suck it up, go along with it. No, like, this is just part of life. And it really doesn't have to be. It's that we haven't had the dialogue and the information and the education to be able to support women in their health across these many chapters. I think that's why it feels just so important. This work is really, we're seeing more and more advocacy for women's health. We're finally seeing some movement in terms of research dollars, but some of the comparisons in terms of research dollars for women versus men of like health conditions is just blows my mind.
So I know now, to take your work to a different layer, a deeper layer, you are passionate about integrating this work with the nervous system and why it's so important specifically for women. So can you speak into that?
Yeah. So I think also as women, so many people are running around wearing multiple hats. So, when there was this real shift in the last many decades of like women working and not staying home all the time, it didn't mean that those other responsibilities got handed off to other people. It just meant that women were doing more. And so what we often see is that particularly in the age range of like 30, 35 to like 55, we're seeing women who tend to be excelling in their career and business. They may have young kids at home or they're on a fertility journey. We see them taking care of aging parents. There's lots of financial pieces going on, relationships, responsibilities. And so women are wearing multiple hats, and society has not been set up to support that process. It's, well, if you're going to take that on, then you take that on and you have to put a smile on your face and grin and bear it. And so, as we know, what happens is there starts to be dysregulation within the nervous system. And we see this real shift towards feelings of overwhelm, burnout. We see symptoms like anxiety, there can be depression, mood changes. And when we're living in that state of overactivation in the nervous system, there's a trickle effect that starts to happen. And that can quite closely and deeply affect all hormones in the body, but particularly women's hormones like estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone to some degree. And so, what I tend to see in practice is women coming to me and saying, I have this huge list of symptoms that I'm experiencing. I have anxiety. I'm not sleeping well. I have no sex drive. My periods are painful. I have digestive issues. I'm getting this some sort of like skin rash or condition. And that's like a handful of things of the list of many. And they come in and those symptoms alone are overwhelming because it feels, wow, I have this list, 7 different things that I'm experiencing that are taking away from my optimal health. And I'm already overwhelmed. How can I possibly manage 7 different things? And so what can be very helpful is when we start like zoom back and we look at, what does a day, a week, a month look like for you? How are you taking care of yourself? How are you integrating nervous system regulation? And when we can start to do that, all of those symptoms can start to resolve because they're all a trickle effect of this overactivation within the nervous system. And that's just something that I always say, I wish that they taught these things in high school. We don't learn these things about our bodies. And so it can be really overwhelming and concerning to be experiencing so many different things when we can just peel it back to look at what is the root cause.
Yes, it's such important work. And I agree. It would be very beneficial if we were taught this. And even, yeah, high school, even elementary, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So would it be fair to say that people are coming to you when they're experiencing a form of burnout then?
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely the area of practice that I feel really passionate about. It's not always, you don't have to wait until you're feeling burnt out to come in. But yeah, definitely those people who are feeling higher levels of anxiety, overwhelm, stress, burnout.
Yeah. Okay. And do you find that many of your clients are coming to you after the fact, or are they coming to you as a preventative measure?
It's a mix. I think a lot of people are coming after the fact. So they're really in that experience and they get to a point where they say, I need some support, I need some help. And so people are coming then. Oftentimes, when we can work together for a period of time, what happens is we become more aware of what those symptoms are because our body's always talking to us and we just are very good at ignoring it. And so we can start to like, what are those cues? What are those signs that for you indicate, okay, maybe we're like pushing the gas a little too hard right now. It might be a really busy time. We might not be able to pull back in certain areas, but what are the reinforcements that we can put in? And so I find that as time goes on with when I'm working with people start coming back earlier and earlier so that we work together then in more of a preventative way.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So, can you share with me what it looks like inside of your space and the other practitioners that you work with?
Yeah. So Glow is a multidisciplinary clinic, and we have massage therapy, acupuncture, naturopathic medicine, medical counseling. We have nutrition support, so nutritionists and dietitians. We have doula, and we have medical aesthetics. It is a place where people come and can see multiple practitioners. We work really collaboratively as a team. And that was one of the real drivers behind opening a multidisciplinary clinic. My business partner and I both had our own experiences of running around the city with a team of different providers who we liked and trusted. But it's exhausting to repeat your story over and over again, to be going all over the city when everything could be in one place. So what we find is that people are often they may be referred, either it's word of mouth, a friend, a family member has been to Glow before, they've been referred by another professional, they come in and they start with one practitioner. What we find is that the majority of our patients are seeing two or more providers at Glow, which is really nice in terms of just their information being centralized, us being able to, of course, with their consent, but to communicate about what we're all doing to support that person so that they can really get the most out of the effort that they're putting into their health.
That's incredible. A one-stop shop.
That's the goal. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and very nourishing. It's are there other facilities like that? Because I'm not well aware of that robust of clinics such as yours.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely multidisciplinary clinics all over the place. What felt really important to us when we were opening Glow was that we were cultivating an environment where people did want to collaborate and people wanted to work together and be part of a team. I think you can talk to a lot of different practitioners out there who will say that they've been in clinic spaces where it is multidisciplinary. There's different disciplines under one roof, but everyone's just doing their own thing. They're renting a room, they're coming and going. There's not a lot of collaboration. And you certainly don't know a lot about the other practitioners to make trusted and meaningful referrals for your patients. I think we are unique in that way. And certainly when you then layer in that focus and passion for supporting women's health across the lifespan, there's no one quite like us.
Oh. I love that. So share with me, I know you have some incredible offerings coming up very soon. Can you share with us what they are and how can people learn more about them?
As of August 1st, Glow is 2 years old. So we're just a baby as well. But something that was really important for Amber Baker, my business partner, and I, when we were opening Glow, we're both so passionate about education. I mentioned before, I wish that these were things that we were taught in high school. And so we have always been passionate about education. We've had workshops and online programs that we've offered across the last 2 years. And we felt like we needed to take that next step going into our third year in business. And so we've launched Glow Online, which is a one stop shop, as you said, form for digital products, resources, courses, live series that all focus on different aspects of women's health. So we have things like meal plans, we have different movement and mindfulness just bundles. We have courses up there like Simplifying Hormone Health and Hormone Health 101. And then going into the fall, we have live series that we'll be offering. So a prenatal series, a menopause series as well. And so as part of our birthday celebration in August, we're kicking it off with a 30-day free smoothie challenge. And so we want to bring people into the community with something really fun, especially for August, where, it's hot and sometimes we don't want to be eating like heavier foods and meals. And this is a free 30-day smoothie challenge where you get all of the recipes, all the information that you need, and it's all housed at Glow Online.
That is incredible. Huge congrats.
Thank you.
How are you feeling about moving to the online space?
Yeah, it feels exciting. Certainly, I've done work in the online space before, and we always knew that Glow would be larger than our four walls, whatever that looked like. We talk about other locations at some point, but certainly wanting to increase access, something that we love so much about the online space and online courses and programs and products that people can have access to is that the accessibility point is so much more available. So if you're coming to see someone on one in person or online, the price point for that is going to be a lot higher than if you are in a pre-recorded course or a live series with practitioners. So it feels really important for us from an accessibility perspective for more people to be able to get this information and at a cost that feels appropriate.
Yeah, far
Yeah.
more. That's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
Glow's gone global.
Glow has gone global. That's it. Love it.
Done for you. So good and so needed. So how can people connect with you, learn more about you, sign up for
Mhm.
the challenge?
Yeah. So you can head over to glowintegrative.com and there's a space up at the top for our online Glow Online, or you can go directly. It's online.glowintegrative.com and all the information there is available for whatever you need. All of those bundles and programs that are up there. And then, of course, the free smoothie challenge. And you can follow us on Instagram as well. Our handle's Glow Integrative. And we share a lot of information there, a lot of education. It feels so important for us to be able to provide that accessibility. So there's lots in there for everyone too.
Thank you so much for doing the work that you do. I know for me, I'm entering the perimenopause phase of my life. And so it's so nice to have these conversations and have the support and have now the accessibility online for individuals. Because I know women's health wasn't spoken about as much as it is now. And it's so needed. So thank you so much for the work that you do.
Thank you.
All right. So before we say goodbye for now, what is a message of hope you can offer someone who might be feeling like quitting or throwing the towel?
Yeah, I think something that is always a really important reminder is that you don't need to do a full 360 on your health. There are very small things that you can start to integrate that cost no money, that don't require people to help you. And I really encourage people, I know this is work that you do of like connecting into your breath. I think we forget how powerful our breath is. It's one of the best ways that we can recalibrate, reset our nervous system, and you have your breath with you all the time. So you don't need to do all of these big fancy things. You come back to the foundations, come back to the basics of eating nourishing food, moving your body, breathing, focusing on your stress, and sleeping well. And you're going to notice a huge difference already.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. I always say your breath is your greatest and most underutilized tool that you have. So thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Well, it's been such a blessing to be here with you today, Rachel. Thank you again for the work that you do and for sharing your glow with the world.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I've loved chatting with you.
Pleasure. Most people think scaling is about doing more strategy, more hours, more effort. Your success isn't about how hard you work. It's about how well your nervous system can hold what you're building. If your body is stuck in survival mode, no strategy in the world will make scaling feel sustainable. You'll stay in the cycle of overthinking, self-sabotaging, pushing harder while getting nowhere. Not because you don't know what to do, but because your system isn't wired to receive what you're working for. That's why I created the Inner Pharmacy Playbook. 143 power pages of real, high-level strategy to regulate your nervous system, rewire resistance, and finally step into momentum that sticks. Because you weren't meant to build your empire through exhaustion. You were meant to build it with ease, clarity, and power. And that starts here. Go to the show notes and grab your copy of the Inner Pharmacy Playbook, because the next level of your business is not about grinding harder. It's about becoming the version of you who can hold it all.